I did have some struggles with the themes. I was wasting money on themes that I never wound up using and paying developers to import the theme for me when I was intimidated by WordPress. Looking back, WordPress is very easy to use, and after watching a few minute video on YouTube, it's easy to do. But I probably could have saved several $100s there on both ends, themes and installing the theme and setting up the site. Other than that, I mean, I've mentioned my struggles with some cheaper content providers. I think the solution to that was I just had to spend some extra time editing the piece of article. But there is a lot of articles that definitely got through the cracks in the beginning that maybe aren't the highest quality that I would like to go back and edit. But I figured, as I'm building my site, get the content up, see where it sits, and I can always go back and touch that up.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. It's not too bad of a mistake. And I think, again, a lot of times when you hear success stories, a lot of times people have more experience than on the surface. Like the headline for this podcast and YouTube video is probably going to be fairly sensational. But how many websites have you built like in your whole life, would you say, if you had to guess?
My whole life, a profitable website or just a website that provided some type of purpose for something?
Any kind of website.
I think I probably built around 25 websites or so, but not a single one was WordPress until I started with these type of niche authority sites in March or April.
Okay. Yeah. So there you go. I mean, you have built a lot of them in the past. And I mean, it helps because again, you had confidence, you knew that you could invest money, probably be okay, and that sort of thing. So at this point in time, I mean, you've only made a few bucks, and I think now's a good time to reveal how much you've invested so far. So if you could share whatever you feel comfortable and break it down however you would like.
Sure. So I've probably invested roughly 13,000 in content. Um, I think beyond that, I probably put about another thousand in high quality links. I definitely saved a lot of money doing my own outreach for guest posts early on and trying to get those like smaller business type of links. But the goal at this point now is to probably hit 500 articles and then only invest in new content for the money I'm bringing in. So I kind of made a big step in the last week on monetization, started adding ads to my website. So between Amazon ads, I think the site should start making hopefully $400, $500 a month starting in September, just based on the current traffic trajectories.
Perfect. And you mentioned display ads. You can go ahead and share like who you're working with if you'd like. And just curious how that process has gone so far.
Yeah, so I think out of all the things for my website, this is probably one of the things I spent the most time on in terms of researching before I took action on. So I work with Ezoic now. I joined them last Monday, so it's been a full week now. When I first joined, my EPMV was around $5, and I talked to my manager, and they were like, "Oh, over the course of time, we're going to get you up to a level that's a little bit more exciting. No guarantees, but as our test system goes through and we see what ads work well with your website, it'll start going up." So of course now I'm at $10, which is great. I think for 1 week for EPMV, and that's making about $5 a day because I'm getting roughly 500 views a day now. Where probably 75% of that's from Google search. I think that, so back on the topic of ads, I was really hesitant to add Ezoic ads on my website only for the reason that it would slow down my website's speed. And I didn't want that to hinder its growth, especially because I was putting out so much content that was in the sandbox. I was like, okay, this is probably the most important 6 months of my website. I want to come back next year and be like, okay, now I can add ads because I have 100,000 page views a month, hopefully, or something like that. And after looking into it, I think adding ads is great early on once you have decent amount of traffic to make money. Because think about all these months I could have, not capitalize or monetize that traffic. I mean, I could have made an extra $750,000 if I did or did not do ads. So I went with Ezoic. I have the intention that, I want to eventually get to the bigger ad networks if Ezoic isn't paying me something that gets me really excited. But I think the process so far has been great. Their team is awesome. Their customer service is great. And, if you told me back in June or or May, I'll have ads on my website. By end of August, I'd probably laugh. But the growth is going pretty fast, and it's exciting once you start getting to the ad networks.
Very cool. And as far as your goals, you mentioned, one, you still got the full-time job, you are growing this site, you've started another one, it sounds like. So where do you see this sort of moving in a long-term way?
So I always played with the idea of growing the website to a level that I thought I kind of peaked. I couldn't add too much more content to it, let it sit for a few months and then sell it for whatever it's worth. I think at this point now, I kind of take the hobby side of it and the like fun of signing in every day and checking new keywords ranking and earnings made like as like the best part of it. So I think at this point now, I kind of want to get this website up to hopefully 500 articles, slowly add content to it, and then build my second site out to hopefully another 250, 300 articles over the course of the next 6 months to 8 months. That site, I didn't really mention it much. It has like 24 articles on it. I just kind of have it sitting. It's only about a month old. But I think it's great to have these websites set up, put the content into it, understand what you did with it, and then kind of let them sit and see what comes out of it. I may sell the site a year from now, 2 years from now, who knows? But I think just having it up there gives you the option to do both. So I think that in itself is definitely an achievement. I don't really have an idea about leaving, work full time to do this. I think I've managed where I can do both. And I honestly enjoy doing both. It's kind of nice to, pick up one thing a day, do that, do my full time job, and then put that down and do this, which doesn't really feel like a job. This is more like a hobby. This is a lot of fun. This is awesome. And we'll see where it goes.
Cool. And you mentioned that you like the hobby, you like the whatever the niche is. Would you, or have you thought about like just doing more and expanding the platform in that area? So is it something that you would enjoy? Like, do you like it enough? Like I like beer enough where I would do beer stuff like all the time, right? Would you be able to like start a podcast and a YouTube channel and like become like a personality in that area?
It's a good question. So I probably thought about the YouTube channel more than anything as like I guess a way to expand my website and kind of reach new people. I think unfortunately though, that is a very competitive niche for what my thing is. And it probably would require a significant amount of time to put out good content to make it worthwhile for me. I think it's not something I'm ruling out. I think that'd probably be the coolest thing if I could do it. It just probably would take significantly more time, I think, than my blog schedule is right now.
Right. Yeah. Well, you never know. I was going to say, in 3 to 5 years, the blog could be big enough where like, if you started a channel or did something else, like there's a big enough audience that you could just sort of bring along and sort of skip the beginning part, that sort of the tough part where you're under say 1,000 subscribers or some kind of thing like that, where you could just bring them over and just shortcut it. Because 3 to 5 years is a long time for these kind of sites. So very cool. So you're gonna keep growing, build more sites, and just see what happens. It's just fun right now, huh?
It's fun right now. I mean, obviously you think about the money you put into something, but I think it's starting to make enough money a month this early on where it's like, okay, I think this is just the beginning of hopefully something that just keeps on growing. I mean, even just from the Amazon earnings growth, like a real small part of my website's monetized with Amazon, and I went from under $100 to I just missed $200 this month. I think I hit 175, and then once ads start kicking in, I mean, I made $25 already in 1 week of ads. So as that stuff starts to climb, it just justifies like, okay, the process is working, keep going. And at the end of the day, not even one of my articles had 6 months to rank yet. So
Wow.
it's definitely encouraging.
So, kind of wrapping up here, do you have any tips for people who want to replicate your success so far?
So I think a lot of people say this, and I think even having money to back up your investment, I would always recommend you definitely write the first few articles on your first mega site. I think it gives you an idea of where you can go from there in terms of what type of content you can have, both Amazon, informational. It kind of opened me up to saying, okay, if I outsource this article, are they going to be able to write and research content that actually satisfies that query? Because it's almost like people think they outsource these articles and they're going to get this topic back. It's like, well, there's nothing on the internet and it's a pretty difficult topic. Like, what do you expect the writer to write? So kind of writing the content on your own and going through the steps of research definitely opened my eyes to saying, okay, I can have somebody else Google this topic, find 5 relevant pages, and put it all together, make it a better summary or a better piece of information for someone. So I think that's definitely a key to starting. Another thing I would say is, and I had a few people reach out to me on one of the internet marketing forums I'm on. They always send me like they work on a site and it's just Amazon affiliate early on, and they're all writing articles about topics that have already been written before for product reviews. Like if you're in a niche, especially something that maybe you have extra knowledge in, try and find out like what's unique or different about that topic that you have some superior knowledge to. And you could probably write a product review on something that doesn't scream out Amazon affiliate right off the bat. And that could be an easy way to get traffic early on. I guess that kind of goes back to the KGR method, but like try and look at those topics that aren't like the generic, like Amazon, like best ballpoint pen. Like try and look at something that like is an Amazon product, but you can kind of tweak it in your own unique way, where you're the only article that maybe introduces or satisfies that search.
Are you in public anywhere? Can people follow you, or are you kind of sort of off the radar here?
So I have a journey thread on one of the internet marketing forums. I think I will think about how I can make this a little bit more like you can follow the journey, whether it's just maybe giving you updates, Doug, or something along those lines. I guess just for the end of the video, we can say right now I'm at roughly 350 organic searches a day from Google. Winds up being just under 500 clicks with search with direct traffic and social. For some reason, I'm getting a lot of traffic from that Google discovery thing. I publish like a new article and it goes viral for like a few days and it comes up as like direct traffic. It just started probably 3 weeks ago, but it's added like an extra 100, 150 views to my site a day, but only on like newer articles.